On May 5th, 1956, Tokyo held the very first World Judo Championship in a city that was rising from the ashes of war. 31 judo warriors from 21 nations gathered for a moment that would change the sport forever. This wasn't just a tournament, it was a clash of cultures, test of spirit, and the birth of a new global legacy. Join us today as we go and find who will rise, who will fall, and how Japan's martial arts became a worldwide phenomenon, uniting athletes from every corner of the globe with just one legendary day. Today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide, as you daily learn more about sports history, increasing your sports knowledge as we dive into the very first Judo Championship. Now, in decades before the championship, Judo underwent a remarkable transformation from just a Japanese martial arts into a global sport. It was founded in 1882 by Jinro Kana. It was originally a system of physical and moral education for Japan, but its reputation in discipline and technique grew international interest. And after World War II, the presence of U.S. soldiers in Japan increased the cultural exchange, sparking a surge of judo in popular European and United States. And the Western practitioners were able to push this narrative. Now, Kanu himself envisioned judo being a universal sport, proposing forming an international judo organization in 1930. However, Japan was in a political turmoil, and Kanu died in 1938, delaying these ambitions. And it wasn't after World War II, the reconstitution of the European Judo Union in 1951, that the idea really gained momentum. And in July 1951, representatives from major European countries, including Argentina, met in London to establish the International Judo Federation, or the IJF. And Aldo Tordi of Italy was appointed the very first president of the IJF, and would be succeeded a year later by Raisi Kanu, the son of the creator of judo. Now, this creation of this federation went across the entire world scale, and the European Championships were actually held in 1951, but there was no global contest to crown a world championship yet. You have to remember, it was the 1950s, travel was not as easy, and countries were just coming off a war, so having it centralized made more sense. But for Japan, hosting a world tournament in Tokyo both mattered for pride and it was a strategic move. Judo was a symbol of Japanese culture and showed discipline and resiliency for the nation. And they wanted to demonstrate their leadership in the sport and welcome international challengers that would be a stepping stone towards Olympic recognition. And would be a decade later when it would debut in the Olympics at the Tokyo Olympics in 1964. So by 1956, the groundwork was laid. The IGF had become more of a sports governance. Judo clubs and federations were thriving in every continent except for Antarctica. And the world was ready for a championship to see who was the best judo champion. So in May 1956 in Tokyo, was the first World Judo Championship would be held in Tokyo, showing off the national pride for this new martial arts championship. And this attracted 31 participants from 21 different countries, which is a remarkable feat because just decades earlier, it was almost only in Japan. Flags from across Europe, the Americas, Asia hung side by side, underscoring the international spirit of the championship. For many of these athletes, it was the first time they ever been to Japan to experience the birthplace of judo. And unlike today's multiple weight division, the 1956 championship was only a single open weight category, which meant all sizes, all styles faced off against each other no matter what. So a winner take all type of event. Now there were some favorites coming into this event. Shokichi Natsui entered as one of the top favorites, known for his technical precision and calm demeanor, and was a master at classic judo technique. And Yasuko Yasumitsu was also leading Japan, and these two from the nation of Japan were leading the way. But there were also some others that were rising to the challenge. Anton Geesink of the Netherlands was just 22 years old, but already making waves in the European Judo Championship. He was towering and powerful and had a new breed of Western judo to challenge Japanese dominance. And Henri Courtine was a pioneer for French judo and brought a blend of athleticism and technique to the field to truly make this a world competition. Natsui would run through the tournament. It was nothing short of spectacular. He dispatched his first opponent from Cambodia in just 3 seconds with a shoulder throw. And in the second round, he only needed 8 seconds to defeat his challenger from Denmark with a body drop. His third match against a fighter from Belgium only lasted 44 seconds. When he came to the semifinals against Henri Courtine of France, it lasted just 8 seconds. In total, Natsui had got to the finals with a total of 63 seconds on the mat. It showed how dominant his technique was over fighters. Now, this fight didn't have a third place fight. So the fighters that lost in the semifinals both shared the bronze medal. And Yoshimitsu was facing off against Natsu in the final, an all-Japanese final. Now, Yoshimitsu didn't have as quick as a way to get to the finals, but still managed his way easily to get to the finals. And he was 36 at the time. And Anton of the Netherlands and Henri Courtine would make the first podium, both winning bronze in this tournament. Silver would go to Yoshimitsu of Japan, and gold would go to Satsu, becoming the first judo champion, and it made an all-Japanese final between him and Yoshimitsu. And this whole tournament all happened within one day. It wasn't spread out during a week, during a whole month. It was just a one-day competition. And it gave us heroes of both the East and the West, but still showed how dominant Japan was in the world of judo. Now, this was a landmark moment for judo. These fighters became legends in the judo scene and helped continue to grow the sport. And it had so much success that eventually judo would be included in the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. And it continued to grow. In 1961, the championship would be held first time outside of Japan. And it was held in Paris, France. And it would continue then to move around the whole world at different locations. And it wasn't until 1965 where they had different weight classes, still having an open category, but having a heavyweight, middleweight, and lightweight. And they've since separated even more to present day where they have open, heavyweight, halfweight, middleweight, half middleweight, lightweight, half lightweight, and extra lightweight to give equal opportunity to everyone. And Japan has had the most medals, winning 417 medals in the category. And they've expanded and added a women's division and a mixed competition. They hold this every 2 years, starting in 1961. And this one event kind of changed martial arts as well. It gave martial arts even more autonomy and even more publicity as it got into the Olympics, being one of 3 martial arts in the Olympics: judo, karate, and taekwondo. And it really helped give a new form of discipline and fighting sport into the world, and has grown year after year after year. We all, in America, we kind of include judo, karate, taekwondo, all the martial arts we include kind of all together. But it has continued to grow every year, and this has really helped the discipline, as it is a beautiful sport. If you get a chance to watch it in the Olympics or watch a world final, you get to really see how great these fighters are. And it's becoming increasingly more popular as a lot of these fighters are migrating into MMA and the UFC, and we get to see those styles on display against other styles, and that's a unique experience. But it all comes back to this moment when they held a world tournament, because when you have a world tournament, it really shows how much a sport has grown. And when it gets included in the Olympics, it does that even a step farther. Judo is a beautiful sport that's unique and has taken over the world, and it proves it by its very first World Championship. I want to thank you for listening to today's Daily Sports History. If you want more martial arts content, check out the Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio Show. I'll put a link in the description below for you to check them out. It's a bi-weekly podcast devoted to the traditions of all forms of martial arts. They dig into what makes it tick, their history, and their experience. All you could need to know from taekwondo, judo, karate, kung fu, everything, even ones that I don't even know. Check them out so you can learn even more about martial arts. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review wherever you're listening. If you do, tell us a topic you want us to cover, and I will do that just for you and give you a shout out after the show. And come back tomorrow for more daily sports history.